Alright, so today's character is AfterImage. So brief rundown on the character. He is like your Flash kind of character, that speedster type power set. But caveat is he's incredibly indecisive, right? So you can like if you think about it, right? If you have the speed of the Flash, right, but you can't decide where to go, you still end up getting hit all the same. You just had way more time to think about it, right? So his perception of reality is really fast, right? And he can move really fast and he could be incredibly impactful and strong. However, he really doesn't know what to do, right? And so what he ends up doing is he is always waiting for normal people, like the normal other members in the series, to kind of tell him where to go. Right. And so that's kind of the concept that I went with here. Um, I generally, in terms of the actual character design, I wanted it for him to kind of feel like awkward. I like still feel strong, but like in kind of like a, like he wouldn't it wouldn't feel like you're getting saved by like Spider-Man or something. It's like it's more like getting saved by like some random like B-lister who's like this is like it always kind of feels like it's his first save. Like he never really feels like he has the confidence to actually save somebody, right? I was trying to have like him scratching his head in the back, but I ended up just kind of it ended up just not really working out. However, I do generally like the suit design here. It feels very like generic superhero-y, but it still feels like it's interesting, at least visually. I again I think a visor, it's such a like a standard piece of kind of speedster tech, right? Having something to cover the eyes, because well, you're running a lot, right? You don't want stuff getting in your eyes. So I think having that, like kind of that having that full face covered is always fun, right? I try to make him a lot more bottom heavy just because it doesn't really make sense for him to be like big, strong, macho man, right? Because like why would somebody that does running be like big up top, right? And though I do think I could have made it a little more complex, I think especially considering that I'm going to be the one writing and creating for this series, I think it's better for me to kind of stick to some more simplistic stuff. Um, that being said, I think generally this was a pretty solid design. Again, I don't think I don't know. I think it gives enough. Like I think having the goggles there allows for a level of like I guess emotion that is kind of required in like a medium of storytelling like comics, right? Being able to like raise your eyebrow and have the eyes kind of adjust off of that, in a way that's like fun and quirky, is I think that's something that's I would say I would say it is important while designing, at least for the purposes of these characters, right? Because if you're not going to show the full face, you kind of have to give something to where it can't just be body language telling you what they're feeling. It has to be something a little bit more, right? So yeah, I did try to give him some pretty thunderous thighs here. I'm not gonna lie. Try to make this boy pretty thick, just because I mean my boy does some running, right? Like you gotta make it look like he's doing it. And generally, I do like the anatomy in this picture. I don't think there's really anything that I'm like super that I feel like I don't really feel like any of the anatomy is like super off. If anything, I would say that like a lot of the micro anatomy or like the individual musculature, because of the way I see it, there's like macro anatomy, which is that like everything just from a glance looks very good, but then there's the more like micro level, like that kind of looking into like each muscle and like where would it connect and bisect and all that stuff. I think I did a good job at kind of showing that vascularity and that conditioning, because obviously it's a superhero, you got to kind of have that bodybuilder physique. um what I did really like, now that we're getting more into the shading section of this, is I really like the way that I did the black and white, the way that I did the shading. I think was very well, like I think very well executed. I think it's something that I definitely felt very I don't know, I felt very proud in. So yeah, that's that being said, this is a character that's very much in that Miss Marvelous tier in terms of the storytelling. Again, I think it very much is showing that I can draw guys a lot better than I can draw girls, because there's this just feels like a much better drawing than the Miss Marvelous one, and that's why I kind of wanted to get the Miss Marvelous one out of the way first. Because again, you can see that, like, again, drawing big, strong, manly men, it's kind of my forte. It's kind of what I've been. It's kind of like what I like drawing, and what I like doing, especially in black and white. And so being able to kind of go back into that after this little hiatus of roughly 60 videos or so of doing this, it it kind of lets me, kind of remember the roots a little bit, which is always nice. Um, Again, I think I really like this, like, detail of, like, having each of the muscles bisect, or what are they, like, bisect, having like that more increased hatching. It makes it feel a lot more like muscle fiber. And I really wish I kind of carried that over a little bit better with the white. I would say that the white shading was a little bit more lackluster compared to the quads and the thighs um on the shading below. I think I could have done a much better job, and I think I could have done that by looking up more forearm musculature and bicep musculature and stuff. So just for future reference. But this is more about the actual design, and so I kind of tried to, you know, I tried to make sure that it felt very like it felt very much more like a design. Um, Again, I really do like this one on the right hand side here. Just because I was able to put a lot more detail into the top part. I think the upper body is definitely more of a strong suit for me. Just, it's what I've always liked drawing. It's what I've always kind of gone to, and so being able to draw it is always nice, right? Again, I ended up adding a little bit of flair, a little bit of fun, mostly just as a like, mostly just as kind of like a fun aesthetic. But yeah, I was thinking of shifting it over a little bit more, but it just ended up not working. But yeah, so that's AfterImage, the speedster in the story I'm writing, which is occasionally overpowered. Any details or anything like that will be released closer to the actual release date, which will be in January and/or December, probably January, because I'm kind of fucking lazy and I don't want to have to do this mid-exam season. So, but yeah, so whenever I do end up writing and drawing this will be the designated speedster. So yeah, again, I would like to thank y'all all for watching. It was super fun making this. Make sure to stay tuned, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.